Wow.
It's quite the long song, too.
It is, but it was engaging the entire time.
Yeah.
It had just enough variation within it that I found myself just waiting for the next thing to happen, and I'm like, man, this is like the part where it was going back and forth between the two channels, left and right, was really interesting. It got me a little bit dizzy there for a second, but that was kind of cool. It was weird when I was listening to that part. There was a little woo that was in the background that I noticed,
Yeah.
and I don't know why, but it just reminded me of those like ad libs that you hear in like rap songs sometimes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I was honestly half expecting it to just completely change vibe and just have a rap verse in there, and I'm kind of sad that it didn't, just because of that.
I could
But
see that. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I think it would be neat.
Uh,
But then there's also some really cool production stuff in there too. Like there's an interesting like tremolo effect on the voice in certain parts where it kind of like flutters a little bit and gives it some interesting textures.
I I've been enjoying pretty much everything they've released. That song is actually off of their 2015 album, which is not, I guess what you'd consider fresh. However, they just released an album last year, 2020, called Possession.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's fantastic. I mean, that it's the same production quality throughout, and just I don't know, the way they balance everything and everything. It sounds great. um, and they actually just released a single called After Coffee, and the lead
Mm.
singer also just went off and released an EP with another guy that's called 30% Off. And I would highly recommend that entire EP as well. It's him singing throughout it. I'm not entirely sure what the other guy, Jason Suido, I haven't listened to any of his music or anything like that, but it was a fantastic EP, and the fact that they've
Mm.
released so much so quickly has been very surprising.
Yeah.
But they're out of
Yeah.
Rochester, New York,
Okay.
and their website is oh boy, I'm looking at it right now, and it is a trip. um, it's
Yeah, a little bit.
joywavemusic.com, and it's like a fake news site almost, with drug advertisements of, which is actually an advertisement for one of their music videos.
This entire thing it's just a parody. It's so funny. That's I always love when groups do creative things like that with their website. I also kind of hate it a little bit too, because then it's just hard to find info about them sometimes,
Yeah.
especially if like they're not big enough to have a Wikipedia page. But it is definitely a trip to look at some of that stuff sometimes.
Their uh, their style is definitely interesting. I think I saw, what did they call it? Indie-tronica?
Okay, yeah, because it's definitely very synth poppy kind of, but it's also very very indie sounding.
Yeah.
Which I think that that's a good combination. I definitely liked that, and I want to listen to more of it. I think because that was like I said, just very engaging. So my final song is by a blues rock duo that I've been following for a little while now, and they're called the Blue Stones. I found them in 2018 ish, somewhere around there, when they released their first album, which is called Black Holes. And I've been listening to that for since it came out, and they just released a new album last Friday on the 19th, and it is called Hidden Gems. This next song is called Let It Ride.